Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 317. It is Tuesday here in Cincinnati. It is chilly. We dropped about 30 degrees, I believe, overnight. So this morning it is really cold when I was outside. Yeah, this is the second recording of today's podcast. I created what I thought was this really fun recording, and I went to transfer it to my computer and it was all silence. So I have switched the way that I'm recording to see what is it that really wants to come through, because apparently that was trial number one. What is interesting to explore, because we're just going to follow the trail of where today's adventure is taking us. The last time that this happened with my phone, what has happened, maybe you've had this happen before, I went to plug my headphones in this morning before my run and I got static. So I switched to my Bluetooth and I ran and listened to my Bluetooth music, or music via Bluetooth. And then when I got home, I wanted to make a phone call and the line kept making the static noise. So I just thought I would deal with it later. I'm in such a routine with my podcast that I just sat down and started recording into my phone like normal, not even making a connection that something's up with the sound. Recorded it, went to transfer it over to my computer. There's nothing there. It shows the amount of time that the recording was, but there's no voice. So it brought me back to a couple of years ago when I went on a trip with my daughter right before her graduation. It was right at the end of her senior year. And we went to Costa Rica, and I recorded a couple of videos on the airplane, and when we landed, thinking that it was working, but the audio wasn't working and my headset wasn't working. So on that Sunday, when we finally landed at our hotel and we were finally settling in, I was going to make a phone call, do my Sunday meditation from there. And I dialed in and it wasn't working. You couldn't hear me. There was no volume. And so I was really frustrated for a while, and then I disconnected, hung up, ended the call, and went to the ocean, and I sat in front of the ocean and I don't even know how it worked. It just worked. I recorded the ocean for 30 minutes. It was beautiful. I guess it must have been my plug-in that wasn't working, but my speaker was working. And so I had my speaker on with a voice memo, and I recorded 30 minutes of the ocean music, which is now the soundtrack to all of these podcasts and the Momsie's Lullaby that I listen to every night, the 8-hour loop of that recording. What was created from that technological interrupt is so beautiful and was such an expansion for what I was going to be sharing in my work. And I've been talking about that in this space and in my meditation groups, that we're moving towards the end of the year and there's a completing of the old and a stepping into the new, and we're expanding into something bigger. And the title of the podcast I recorded is Igniting Sparks, Creating Something New. And so of course, what happens? My phone literally can't record the bigger message. And so I have switched to this phone that I haven't been ready for yet. It's a bigger size, a newer model, and I've just sort of been sitting on the side, not used. Apparently my old phone is forcing me into using this newer phone. Yeah, the other message that's so funny is I have been getting in my settings on my phone constantly your storage is full, no more storage, no more room. Last night I sat on the couch with my son while we were watching some TV, deleting messages because I had so many gigabytes of text messages that were sitting with, I'm sure, pictures and videos in them. And so I was just deleting. And my son was just laughing at me. He's like, how can you have so much stuff in your phone? Like, what are you doing? It's like my phone has been reflecting what I have been feeling in my own journey and talking about in my work. We are full. We have been growing and expanding and becoming so much more. And now here we are about to turn the calendar page into a new year and a new decade. What are we going to take with us? How much of that fullness needs to be honored and then emptied, so that there's space for something new to come in and be created? Yeah, it's so fun to see how it plays out so literally in different ways, right? My phone is just one example, but it's clearly hitting me over the head and showing me the efficiency of my time because I'm redoing what was already created. Yeah, it's another surrender too of, this is not my show. This is my soul and source speaking through me, and apparently the last message wasn't correct or it would have recorded. So good. I was sharing with a friend this morning, I was going through my emails, and there were two different emails that I was looking at. One was from Maria Forleo, who has great content and inspirational wisdom for business owners. And she was talking about the completion of the year and these videos that she's making to kind of help guide you through a process of completing. Right after that, there was another email from this other woman I follow overseas who's beautiful, and her energetically beautiful. And her message was, quit worrying about the end of the year. Just be present, be here, be now, be happy. Like, there's nothing to even feel like you have to complete. And so just be fully in the now. And I was reading both emails going, yeah, it's both. It's both of those. And also there's a sense I feel of the possibilities of next year, the possibilities of this next expansion. And when we're full with all that we're hanging on to or carrying from the past, and we're dragging it across into the new year with us, into the new now with us, there isn't room for something new to come in and be formed and be created. The video that Maria Forleo posted was awesome. It was just a quick video of this guy, one of those 5-second clips that just keeps looping. It's this guy on a treadmill, and he's moving really fast, and in one hand he's got a carry-on bag, and behind him on the treadmill he's pulling a wheeled carry-on bag. And she says, how much of your baggage do you want to carry with you into 2020? And that's what I believe this message from my technology and my phone and my work is validating. There are so many new ways to do things. There are so many processes and beliefs that can be streamlined or become more efficient or become more clear. And when we insist on doing it the way we always have, right? For me with my podcast, I'm going to do it like I always have, with a phone that's almost full, with a microphone that's not working. I got nothing. It didn't work. And so being really aware and open to something new coming through. When I recorded the first version of this, Igniting Sparks, the idea that I was sharing, I was talking about yesterday when we explored tranquil waters and this really present, calm, quiet inner way of moving through this full moon energy this week, being really centered and steady inside, and then nothing really ruffles our feathers. What I was reflecting on in my meditation and then sharing in this podcast, I'll share it again now. When we have that spaciousness inside of us, when we aren't rushing and checking off the to-do list and moving through tons of activities and feeling the overwhelm and stress around us. When we are tranquil inside, knowing we're never going to get everything finished, we're just going to focus on what feels most relevant now, what has the most power now, what offers the most spaciousness now. When we can feel that way inside and we allow time to pause, these new ideas, these new sparks can be ignited, and there's space, there's room for us to notice them. We can feel the tendrils, the spark of a new idea, and give it a little oxygen and air and movement within our mind, within our body. It becomes a little bit bigger, it becomes a little more clear, it becomes a little brighter. And then all of a sudden, this beautiful creation can flow through. That's what was happening this morning for me. I was in my meditation time, just reflecting on my journey in this year and this transition into next year, and what would feel good for me for the beginning of next year and how I want to move through it. And I just had this idea for a workshop. I'm like, oh, that would be so fun, like to do this workshop in January, and we'd look at this and we'd take this content, and everything's already done and ready. I've already created it and thought through these things for other experiences and offerings that I have, but I can just bring it into this new molding, this new expression, and it's perfect. And so I was just feeling in my meditation this spark of an idea, and then it just got bigger and more energy was coming into it, and I was so clear on like who I should talk to and what I should say and how it would look and how it would feel, and it just boom, like this beautiful excitement was moving through me about something that is in such alignment with my work and what I believe. And it's so easy. It's so easy. And so that was that was what the spaciousness of feeling tranquil inside was able to offer. Something new can come through because there's room inside of me and quiet in my schedule a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, but a little bit. There's enough quiet that I can hear when my soul wants to bring an idea through. It's such a precious gift to listen and understand what your soul is saying to you, because the mind is quiet and the body is resting for a few moments. It doesn't take a lot of time. It takes a willingness to be still and quiet the activity inside and outside. And then breathe into, if it feels uncomfortable, and relax your muscles and just allow your soul to feel, sense, intuitively guide you into whatever is most present. And for me, it's an idea for a workshop. For you, it might be a person you really want to connect with before the end of the year, or a change you want to make in your diet or your exercise, or an inner commitment to being more peaceful. That it's like your awareness that you crave that. You crave more peace inside. Your awareness that you crave it allows you to then start to align with it, match up with it. And so this new spark gets ignited inside of you to do something different. And maybe you turn off the TV or turn down the volume or close your eyes a little bit earlier and just rest before you go to sleep at night. Maybe you rest a little bit longer when you wake up, because you don't get that urgent sense of having to jump out of bed and hit the ground running 100 miles an hour. You take your time, give yourself an extra 5 minutes, and then in that quiet space, right as you're waking up, your soul is so present and so willing to guide you, to delight you. If you just allow that tiny extra pause. There are so many sparks of ideas of creation inside every single one of us. We are, by nature, creators. And if we simply allow some space for that to be experienced, it's amazing. It's amazing what will come through. So that is where I am in this moment. I went downstairs ready to dive into creating my workshop, and there was no recording. So I'm back in my recording chair. I'm finishing this up, and I'm going to go back downstairs and try it again. And then I'll create my workshop, which is so much fun. All right, Tuesdays, here we go. I wish you such a beautiful day today. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.